guys, welcome back to the channel, and today me and Lucy are back at Durham Raiders. It's a pleasure to be back, and Jez has very kindly obliged to a battle report with his beautifully painted Wanderers, and it's nice that such a beautiful army is making its debut in the form of Jez's army. So let's have a quick look through the armies and the game plan. So here we go, guys. This is 2,000 points of Beast Claw Raiders. I am running Beast Claw Allegiance, and I've got an Earlbad and a Frostlord in addition. So in the Earlbad, we've got the Huskard with the Blood Vulture, and we've got the Beast Claw Raiders on Stonehorn there as well. The Huskard gets +1 damage on all of his attacks in combat, and we have to have 3 units of Mournfang. So we've got 2 units of 2 here, and a single unit of 4, and the 4 is going to be tailing the Huskard, of course. And then the Frostlord with his spear, his command trait will be to re-roll the Everwinter table. He's going to be taking the pelt of Changar. So here we go, this is Jez's beautifully painted Wanderer army. Jez, what's in your army?
Right, so I have my general, who is a Nomad Prince.
Yep.
Who gives the ability of ones, you can re-roll ones to hit. It's
yep.
Very useful against the archers. Spellweaver, and 3 Weight Watcher heroes, and the Dragonlord on. This will actually is going to be the High Elf Dragonlord.
Right.
Obviously it's changed now because he's lost his one keyword.
Yep.
I have 2 units of 20 Glade Guard.
Yep.
10 Eternal Guard. I've got 5 Wild Riders.
Yep.
And some of my favourites, 5 Sisters of the Thorn, which give us a nice little magic ability, which you might see later on.
No worries. And is this a battalion?
This is the battalion, yeah. So it's the Waystone Pathfinders battalion.
No worries. And I'm sure I'm going to find out what it's going to do, especially now that Stonehorns don't take half wounds. It halves the damage of the weapons. But down here, just want to point out this little mushroom that the leader is standing on. Jez's army, fantastically painted, and it's such a pleasure to play against them. Jez, you actually had your Ilariel feature in White Dwarf, is that right?
And actually my son's more crushes in White Dwarf as well.
Nice, nice. So without further ado, let's have a look at the table. So here we go after deployment. Jez won the roll-up, or elected for me to start deploying first. So I dropped the Frostlord, Jez dropped his Dragon, and then I dropped my battalion, and Jez put the rest of his battalion down. The mission that we are playing today is going to be Starstrike. So it's formally Gift from the Heavens, but it's a little bit different with a twist. There's actually 3 objectives this time. So, do I go first though, Jez? That is the question. Do I? I kind of have to move up, but I would rather have the double turn to move up. He's got a lot of shots coming in, but you know what? I think I'm going to go first. Okay, so turn 1 was very, very quick. We were very lucky and got the extra 3-inch move in the hero phase thanks to the Everwinter table, which I took, and the 2 Stonehorns pushed forward. This guy, however, managed to make the charge against the Dragonlord. The Frostlord managed to do 6 mortal wounds with a Frost-Weathered Ice onto the Dragonlord as well, and both Stonehorns attempted the charge. They both ran as well, getting massively, massively up into the grill of Jez's Wood Elves, but unfortunately this guy, despite having a reroll, failed his 9-inch charge. In combat though, we whiffed horribly. I say horribly, we did damage to the dragon, but it's left on 1 wound, and despite being wounded, managed to cut 4 wounds off of the Stonehorn. Now, interesting question, the FAQ changed it to say half the damage characteristic of the weapon that attacks the Stonehorn. So Jez's claws or jaws on the dragon do d6 damage. So the way we did it is we rolled the d6 and Jez rolled a 5, and then we halved the 5 to 3. Would it be d6, roll the result and then half it, or would d6 half to d3? So interesting question. So anyway, end of the turn, the dragon is left on 1 wound, and the Stonehorn, well, he's probably going to be a fire magnet now, but we've at least damaged the Dragonlord, but I'm more concerned about all this fire that's coming in.
So in this turn I've cast Mystic Shield on the dragon, and with my Sisters of Thorn I've cast Shield of Thorns on the dragon as well. which will give him another reroll for saves. But if any 6s I roll in the rerolls for saves or his normal saves, it will give him mortal wound to whatever's attacking him as well.
Lovely.
Okay.
And then his command ability is going to let a unit shoot.
His command ability will let any units within 8 inches of him shoot in the hero phase. As long as it's within 12 inches, they can only select one target. So
right.
He's the biggest threat, so that's where they're all.
And then these guys are standing still, so they get +1 save, +1 to hit, +1 to wound, but they can't move or pile in. Nice. So let's come back after Jez is shot in the hero phase and see if I actually have a Stonehorn left. So the guys on Dia here with the javelins managed to do 1 wound to the Stonehorn, but it was, did you say the Weirwatchers? 3 Weirwatchers hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s because of this guy, but then also generating extra attacks on 6s, and then wounding on 3s at -1. Jez got, about 12 wounds in, and I passed a couple of saves, but unfortunately it was 8 wounds, and because it's only 1, because of the FAQ and it's been 1 damage, I take the full 8 wounds instead of the 4. So nowhere near as durable as what they used to be, but let's move on to Jez's movement, if he's going to move at all, and see what he can do in the shooting phase. Okay, so movement phase. Basically, Jez has decided to dump all of these over this side using his outflank ability, which is part of the new Wanderer's Allegiance, basically to get them over here. But he's only moved one of the heroes at this side. Now what he's going to do is these guys are going to unleash, is it 6 attacks each?
3 attacks, but they're double with the fast shot, so 6 attacks.
So 3 each, double a fast shot at that Stonehorn. This isn't pretty, so you're hitting on 3s, 6s doing extra attacks, re-rolling 1s.
Yes, because of my Batreps.
Right, let's see what this can do then. So a couple of 6s in there.
Yeah, so I'll put the 6 aside there for rerolls. Take those 2s out.
Yep, and then there's a 1 there to re-roll. So that misses, but then you've got 2 extra dice to roll for 2 more hits.
That's all their hits.
So wounding on 3s.
Yeah. And then -1 rend, 1 damage.
Now, unfortunately, my the mammoth plate that he's got normally allows me to reroll saves if it's rend minus dash, but because it's -1, I don't get reroll saves. So I'll grab these up. 5+ because it's -1.
Yeah.
So I take 2, 4, 6. I take 8 of me 12 wounds. Now, normally, again, because of the FAQ, it is the full 8, not 4. So the Dragonfire doing 1 mortal wound. The Huskard is left on 3 wounds. But next up, we've got these 20 archers hitting on 3s because there's 20 of them in the unit. Go for it. And you're re-rolling. Oh, re-rolling 1s. There's quite a few 1s in there though, Jez. So the 2s miss. Okay. And then re-roll the 1s. Yep. And then you're wounding on 4s. Oh. So a few there. Now, I've got a 4 re-rollable because there's no rend on this.
No rend. One's dead general.
Nope, re-rollable.
Oh, not re-rollables.
1, 2, go through. I've got 1 wound left. So last up. Oh, he hits. Basically, this guy's eagle is going for him. Oh. It doesn't wound, but you hit, so he's at -1 to hit for the rest of the game.
No, it's has to wound him as well.
Ah, right. So that was clutching at straws. So is that everything on this side that's fired?
It's everything that, yeah. They're out of range, so they can't get anything.
So let's go and see what these do. So down this side, Jez elected to use the Arcane Bodkins on these for the -3 rend. 4 wounds went through on the Frost Lord. I managed to save 2 on my 6-up save. So he is on 9 wounds. So where does the first artifact drop though? So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 in the center, 5, 6 at this side. So it's at this side that it's going to drop. But who's going first this round, Jez? I roll a 5. He gets a 4, so I'm going to elect to go first. Okay, so hero phase, I managed to heal 1 single wound on the Frost Lord, which means I'm back up to doing 6 mortal wounds. And Jez, I'm going to go for that prince there. He is in the Frost Lord sight, and on a 2+, he is going to die. He's dead. So the rest of the movement basically was the Frost Lord, the Huskard running around here. I only got a 1-inch run, unfortunately, and the Mournfangs are going to try and pile around there. But I've got 2 pistols that I'm going to be shooting before we go into charges. So with the prince cut down, I've decided basically to charge into Jez's lines. I'm going to attack with this guy first, of course, which will then let them immediately attack and pile in. But because I've made a few charges, when I charge, this guy does D6 mortal wounds to them for 2. And then on a 4+, these guys will do 1 mortal wound to them. So that's 1. And these guys on a 4+ do 1 mortal wound to him, which kills him. Because the dragon's on 1 wound, isn't he?
Yeah, it's out of the game.
Damn. And then there was 2 wounds on these guys and 1 of these. So I'm going to attack with a Stonehorn and then pile the Mournfangs in and see what they do. We'll come back after that. Okay, so the Huskard piled in and attacked first and actually killed all of the Wild Riders, thanks to the mortal wounds on the charge doing some, but then the +1 damage, I even got 1 or 2 of my 6s for the mortal wounds in addition. These 2 guys alone managed to take out all of their Wild Riders as well. I got 4 6s to wound with the Mournfangs and 1 with the Gargan Hacker, so that took all of them down. And then these guys killed 3, only getting 1 or 2 mortal wounds on these. That was... I don't think they've ever performed that well. So I'm happy about them, but I'm not happy about the Stonehorns nerf, but that's amazing. I think I've done pretty well out of that, but Jez is now going to come piling in with these. Hopefully he can kill 1 or 2.
Yeah, they've got a 5 and 5. I'm not confident.
And I've also got 6.
Goblins,
yeah, I've also got 6 wounds.
Well, yeah, I'm not confident right now for.
At the end of my turn, I do score 2 points because per round number for holding this objective. Now we're moving into Jez's turn, and he's thought about it a lot. Very, very tactical with their Wanderers now. I do like a lot of their traits. And Jez is contemplating basically pulling everything off the board to jump up behind here and potentially take out the Huskard and the Frost Lord. But he's got a plan, haven't you?
Yes.
He's going to hopefully arcane bolt the Huskard.
Yes.
Do you do it? Because I can't stop it.
Yes.
And you do, and it's D3 mortal wounds. He's only got 1.
Probably 2 anyway.
Yep, and even half in it, I'm still dead.
I'm still dead.
So he's dead. Right.
Now I'm running out.
Now you're running away. Okay, so shooting phase. These guys poured everything into the Frost Lord. I think they did 1 or 2 wounds to him.
Yeah, not very much.
Then it was up to these guys that obviously retreated, and they used the Arcane Bodkins for -3 rend, and you only got 2 through, I think. And then I had 4 wounds left, and it was the 3 Weirwatchers with the -1 rend, 3s and 3s. And unfortunately, Jez had a couple of bad rolls, and I had it. Last one got 5 wounds on, and I passed 3 saves, dropping them to 1. So not bad, but that is turn for Jez. Unfortunately, you can't get to this objective, but we've got 2 more objectives coming down. So there'll be 1 which will come along this line here. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's hoping it goes there for you, right? And it does, it goes in the middle, so pretty much bang on there. And we've got 1 along the back edge as well. For 4, which will also be in the middle, which is handy for me. Right, so there we go. The 2 objectives are now placed. But, Jez, who is going first on turn 3? I've got a 5 and a 2. Oh. I'm almost tempted to let Jez go first. Who am I kidding? Nah. Okay, so my turn was very quick. The Frost Lord moved up here, and I got reroll saves of a 1 on the Everwinter table. We did 1 mortal wound to 1 of the Weirwatchers down here, and as you can see, there's no Wanderers left. Thanks to these 4 guys, they tore them apart by themselves. But practically with the Gargan Hackers, I got really lucky, and I think I got, 4 or 5 wounds through, doing 3 damage each. Yeah. I then managed to kill the witch,
A Spellweaver.
the Spellweaver, with these two, with the Gargan Hackers alone, which meant that I had nobody else to attack with, and of course Jez then piled in with these three guys, and actually did 3 wounds to one of them. So I controlled this objective for 3 more points as it's turn 3, and 3 points for this one, put me at a total of 8 to... Jez doesn't have any yet, but he's about to score 3 here. But yeah, I think absolute pivotal, Jez, right? You dropped him to 1 wound. I think if you killed him, and then even the Stonehorn earlier, if you killed the Stonehorn that was there, that was left on 1 wound, those 2 guys were absolute pivotal. And I think the game would have been very, very different had you actually killed them when you targeted them. But he's still got some firepower left. Let's plod on and see if he can kill some more of these big nasties. Right, so Jez's turn 3, incredibly quick. One of these girls cut down the Frost Lord because I rolled a 2 and a 1 for me save, and even if I re-rolled the 1, couldn't do it. Interestingly enough though, you did do a lot of damage on all the Mournfangs, even though you didn't kill one. So the other remaining 2 managed to do 4 wounds on this one, and the archers over there managed to do an extra 3 wounds on there. So altogether, technically you should have killed 2 out of 8 Mournfangs. Technically. So, Jez does score 3 points for that, putting the score at the minute at 3 to 8. Turn 4 priority. Come on, Jez. I'll re-roll that. And he's going first. Can you get the full, well, what it would be 12 points if you get it?
Yeah, we'll give it a go.
So we've done the entirety of Jez's turn. He managed to run this girl up here to claim this objective, scoring 4 more points. These 2 here managed to damage and kill 1 Mournfang and drop this one to 4 wounds. Down here, the archers dropped this one by a further 2 wounds, and the Glade Guard, it is Glade Guard, hurtled in and failed to do anything, and the Mournfangs managed to drop quite a few of them. However, 1 ran from Battle Shock, but Jez still scores this objective. Still scores them. And he also scores this one back here as well. So, that is 12 points that you've just scored. Plus the 3 from last turn, puts you at 15 to my 8. So, I need to bring something back now.
Yeah.
Right, so the end of my turn, basically, these guys charged in, went first with these and killed the 2 Weirwatchers. Jez then went back with the 3 Glade Guard that were left, killed the lone Mournfang. So I went back with these 2 and killed the lone Weirwatcher, and then went back with this guy, and actually the Gargan Hacker was the one that slew the 3 Glade Guard that were left. So I do score 8 points because it's turn 4, putting me at 16 to Jez's 15. It's still all to play for. I mean, Jez hasn't got a lot left, but if he can hang in there and if he plays well, you never know. You could beat me on points, Jez. You could. It's a potential. So priority for turn 5, Jez. Who's going to get it? Jez goes first. So we're going to call it there because Jez has just fired all of these guys at him and done 3 wounds. I think if Jez had killed him, it would have been a different story. So basically what we've said is Jez was on 18 points, plus the 5 for there, gets him to 23. In turn 5, I want to score 10 points just for these 2 alone, which will put me at 25. Had he killed him, I think if your Glade Guard had done even a little bit better as well, then it would have been all to play for. I'd have had to have moved to try and score multiple objectives. So basically, we're not going to do my turn 5 because I'm just going to stay still and do that. And me and Jez were actually just discussing it. I think, Jez, if you killed the Stonehorn that was on 1 wound, or even the Frost Lord, it would have made a massive difference because you wouldn't have lost all of your Sisters of the Thorn. You wouldn't have lost as many archers.
My biggest loss is really my Nomad Prince. If I'd have killed him off, you wouldn't have killed my Nomad Prince. I'd had the Hero Face shooting still. I'd had the +1 ability still to shooting. And it would have made a huge amount of difference.
It was, and do you know what made the difference there? You only did 3 wounds on the Frost Lord first, and then I healed 1 because of the Pelt of Changar.
Yeah.
Had I not healed the 1, I'd have only been doing D6 mortal wounds instead of 6. So, I do like the tactics of the Wanderers though. They're very different. You've got to think very hit and run.
the whole battalion does rely a lot around the Nomad Prince. That Nomad Prince is crucial to everything. So you killing that off in one go, it's unfortunately just ruins my entire battalion.
People don't like them just because of that. They did get a points increase, which fair enough. But other than doing what they did there, they're not that great in combat. They're okay. They're certainly not the Stonehorns. Stonehorns getting the nerf, you've just got to be careful with them, I think, by taking the multiple wounds at 1 damage apiece. Any thoughts on what you would have done different, or do you think just maybe if you're getting a little bit lucky? Your dice were pretty horrendous at times.
At times. I can't blame the dice completely, though. Like, the best dice run.
I think given what you were up against as well, you did very well.
Probably one thing I might have done differently, and maybe I should have charged my dragon in and taken the combat.
In the turn where you didn't charge him. Yeah.
I was relying on the Nomad Prince that you would charge him and then you wouldn't be able to attack. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I was a little bit relying on.
Yeah.
That was my tactic behind that, but unfortunately, because you shot him off, then I couldn't use that tactic either,
absolutely. What do you think of Mournfangs?
They're good.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of wounds. So I think that's what's
6 wounds apiece at a 4-up save.
And they do have a lot of attacks going on there as well.
With the Gargan Hackers, they've only got 2 each and only hit on 4s, but when they do hit at -1, especially against like your Elves, where you've got so little save, you're just cutting 3 down at a time nearly.
Yeah, they are weak with their sort of saves.
Yeah.
Go for them really easily. Once you get into close combat with these guys, they just fall apart.
I mean, I charged the 4 down here and just took the whole squad.
The whole unit just goes straight away.
So,
they're not strong like that, unfortunately.
Jez, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much indeed.
Cheers, Harry.
Hopefully we'll see you Sylvaneth soon.
Oh, yeah. A bit of a mixed start next time. I might try something a bit different.
No worries. Well, thanks very much, Jez. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed watching the Bat Report. Please check out Durham Raiders. I will post a link to the club in the description. There's loads of different games ongoing. There's board games, there's Bolt Action, there's Sigmar, there's 40k, there's Heresy. You name it, it's on. So please go and check them out. And thanks very much to them for allowing me to film the game. And of course, that massive thank you to Jez for playing against me today. So thanks very much for watching, guys. See you next time.